on Ignite News. The MSA gives Mohawk students the chance to change the school.
It's a chance for students to say, here's where we'd like to see some investments in our college.
Haitian culture comes to the Hamilton Conservatory for the Arts.
Thereby shows sort of the breadth of and the diversity of what Black culture is in North America today.
And one small boy had one big idea. All this and more coming up now.
Good morning and welcome to Ignite News for Wednesday, February 20th. I'm Charlie Chase.
And I'm Ayan Mahmood. Here's what's making news. The Mohawk Student Association and the college are offering $100,000 for the best idea to improve Mohawk College, as well as a $1,000 cash incentive. Joining us now in the studio is Ignite News reporter Mickey Slinger. Mickey, where did the MSA get the money for this?
Thanks, Ayan. The MSA got the money from their surplus revenue. It's about $2 million, and they decided to give some back.
Improve Mohawk College. What would you do? The MSA wants to hear your ideas. It's taken $50,000 from revenue, plus a matched $50,000 from the college. Director of Communications, Jay Robb, explains where the money is coming from.
Rob really liked the idea. It's a chance for students to say, here's where we'd like to see some investments in our college. So the president said, we'll match what the MSA is putting in. So the MSA was putting up $50,000. The college agreed to match that, so it raises it to $100,000. And that's coming out of the president's office budget.
MSA President Andy Hall explains how MSA Gives Back came to be.
College. Maybe there's a lot of other groups too. Maybe there's a lot of other students who, have an idea but don't think there's the funding available, so maybe they don't come forward. Well, that's kind of the whole idea behind MSA Gives Back. We have that money now to put forward towards an idea, or maybe even multiple ideas.
Not just any idea can be accepted though. Every submission needs to meet a set of criteria before it can be voted on.
It has to be a student-led idea by a full-time fee-paying student, much like our membership is. And it has to be something that is feasible within a $100,000 budget, and it has to be self-sustaining. So it can't be something that over the progress of years and years and years, it's something that has to be funded every single year. It is a kind of a one-time shop thing.
Student submissions are being accepted up to March 20th, and voting begins on March 7th. Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Mickey Slinger.
So this is the first time the MSA has done something like this, and they're expecting to receive quite a few submissions.
Mickey, tell me, how will the judges pick the winner?
Well, the top 10 are going to make it to a sort of Dragon's Den judging panel. Judges are going to be made up of MSA members as well as various members of the college. It all takes place on March 26th.
Thank you very much, Mickey.
With the MSA incentive on the move, we asked you, Mohawk, what you thought needed improvement around the college.
I think a new study area would be really helpful for the students in general because there's no place, everybody's loud up there, and also extending the hours for the library.
To improve Mohawk, we should get rid of those dryers that take forever because I just end up wiping out my pants.
The food court, I'd say, because you have to go to the Arnie to get the other special, day of the special, or just go to the downstairs in the food court.
I'm an international student, and to get into the international office now is hectic compared to when I came here at first. And I do hate this square. I just don't like it because you have to go there and wait for tons of hours just to get what you want. So.
I think the school could use maybe a pool or some more areas for people to actually eat, because when I get my food, there's always like the Heath Lounge and stuff like that, but there's nowhere to actually sit down and eat my food. So that's probably one thing we could use.
Cheaper food. And maybe some healthier food options. I work in the cellar, and we used to have salmon, but we no longer have salmon. And now I have onion rings to choose from. I have burgers, fries, and all that stuff. I want some salmon.
Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne gave her first throne speech at Queen's Park, which outlined the Liberal agenda for the upcoming term. Wynne promised to pay down Ontario's $12 billion deficit, promote social inclusion, and renew cooperation between the parties. Wynne received support from the NDP, but others were less favorable. Tory leader Tim Hudak says Ontario needs a new government to rescue the province from its financial problem.
A man was rushed to hospital after a house fire broke out on Canning Street at 3 a.m. on Wednesday. The victim was found unconscious inside the home with third-degree burns covering most of his body. 35 firefighters were called to the scene, and it took them over 5 hours to battle the blaze. The cause has yet to be determined.
Stephen Harper announced the opening of the Office of Religious Freedom at a mosque in Vaughan. The office was a campaign promise made by the Prime Minister nearly 2 years ago. Andrew Bennett, a Catholic, will lead the office. The mandate of the office will be to promote worldwide religious tolerance.
Hamilton celebrates Black History Month with song and a dance with a performance from a Haitian guitarist. Ignite News reporter Neil Reyes has more.
Words, music, and dance come together in an expression of global culture. Wesley Louison, a Haitian-born singer and musician, performed songs about his homeland and its culture at the Hamilton Conservatory for the Arts. Matapa, a local music and arts organization dedicated to bringing world culture to Hamilton, hosted the concert as part of their Roots en Route festival. The festival offers the city unique experiences of Black culture.
What we've tried to do with this program this year is focused on artists of the diaspora, in other words, artists that have come from Africa and are now living elsewhere, and to thereby show sort of the breadth of and the diversity of what Black culture is in North America today.
Wesley's concert is part of a series of shows celebrating Black History Month. His songs are a celebration of his Haitian roots, combined with many different styles of music. With native dance and voodoo-inspired rhythms, the three-piece band had the crowd up and moving. The unique blend of funk, soul, Afrobeats, and reggae were uplifting even though they talked about gang violence and poverty. Philemon Navjaya, executive director for Matapa, says there's more to Wesley's performances than his musicianship.
He's always trying to bring to people the roots from Haiti and try to make sure that people will remember that there's something there.
He also says audience participation is a necessary part of the performance.
Doesn't matter where we're going, we take it with us, we go with us, so we need to share. And then if we can provide the space for people to share, that will be such a great, because there's a lot of things that we can learn to each other, and we saw that today.
For Ignite News, I'm Neil Reyes.
Hamilton is making an impact in Burma. 2 Hamilton MPs are in Burma to help explore the workings of Western democracy. Hamilton Centre MP David Christopherson and Hamilton East Stony Creek MP Wayne Marston are part of a Canadian delegation made up of 14 members. Burma has been under military rule for decades and is slowly moving towards democratic civilian rule.
Canadians are growing tired of their long and expensive phone bills. That's why Canada's regulatory system asks Canadians what they would like to see changed. Adam Steinberg joins us in the newsroom. Adam, what kind of changes can we expect to see?
Thanks, Ayan. Some of the changes that are being discussed are allowing customers to unlock their phones and banning carriers from increasing fees on already signed contracts. But the abolishment of the 3-year plan is what's really catching buzz.
Cell phones have become an integrated part of almost everybody's life, and consequently, so has the phone bill. In fact, Canada has some of the most expensive cell phone plans nationwide. That's why the CRTC, a regulatory body of the Canadian government, asked for the public's input in drafting a wireless code. Peter Morin is a professor of mass communication at Mohawk College and explains why cell phone providers will soon be held accountable to a new code of conduct.
There's been so much public outcry about cell phone contracts and how they're confusing, and it's hard to break your contract without, paying an arm and a leg to get out of it. They decided to turn to the public and see about coming up with a code of conduct for wireless providers.
Students at Mohawk have a few complaints about their contracts as well.
I hate the fact that it's 3 years long.
I think it's like $70 a month for like a gig of data and like the talk and text time that I need, which is stupid for what it is.
I don't like that I'm on a 3-year contract and I can't get a new phone when I need it or when I would like it if my old one breaks.
I actually don't even have a cell phone contract. I refuse them.
For the most part, I actually love my phone plan, but the one thing I dislike the most is easily the data.
It's a public consultation, so whatever the public tells them, they would like changed. And the two biggies are clarity in terms of cell phone contracts and contract links. Those are the two big things that consumers really seem to be bent out of shape over.
If you have just signed a contract with a cell phone provider, don't worry, because the wireless code will apply to existing contracts as well. For Ignite News, I'm Adam Steinberg.
Hamilton and police are hoping the community can help bring a missing man home. Donald Boudreau was last seen yesterday leaving the St. Joseph's Hospital emergency room. The 57-year-old Boudreau is white, 5'9", with a thin build and short salt and pepper colored hair. Police say he walks with a pronounced shuffle and asked to please call 911 if you see him.
A Toronto gun crime trial has fired up debate over controversial minimum sentencing laws. At the Ontario Court of Appeals, Crown Attorney argued in favor of minimum sentences, citing several recent shooting deaths in the city. One of the central example cases expected in the trial is that of 15-year-old Leroy Mickley, who was caught posing with handguns for a Facebook photo. The judge in that case struck the minimum sentences down as unconstitutional, a fact that federal and provincial attorneys are fighting against. Under the current minimum sentencing laws, anyone found with an illegal loaded handgun must serve 3 years in prison.
On Family Day, Braden's Hot Chocolate Festival made its triumphant return. Ignite News reporter Chris Luckett has the story.
For the second year in a row, thousands flocked to Dundas Valley Conservation Area for Braden's Hot Chocolate Festival. The event, sponsored by Tim Hortons, was set up around an old train station off of the rail trail and surrounded by forested scenery. It was the perfect location for everything from crafts and music to food trucks and, yes, lots of hot chocolate. The whole event was the brainchild of Braden Marshall, a boy from Dundas with a clever fundraising idea.
So one day my dad and I were just sitting around and I suggested maybe I wanted to do a lemonade stand. Then we realized it was the middle of November, so it was a bit too cold for lemonade. So then I suggested hot chocolate, and that sparked the whole thing.
Numerous musical acts also performed, including legendary R&B singer John Ellison.
I don't need all that's money. I don't need a big fine car. I got everything that a man want. I got more than I can ask for.
John got right on board with Braden's idea.
You know, anytime you see a young person that's trying to do something positive, you know, I'm a guy to support it. You know, and it's been some kind of wonderful hot chocolate festival.
Many other attendees agreed with Ellison.
We're loving this. Okay? We'll be back every year. This is great.
Lots to eat, lots to drink. It's fabulous.
It was very nice. There's lots of people. I was surprised to see how busy it was, which is a good thing.
A little cold, but still a lot of fun. I have a very soft spot for chocolate, so I'm in the right place.
All the proceeds from the Hot Chocolate Festival will go towards helping the Dundas Valley Conservation Area. If today's turnout is any indication, Braden's got a massive hit on his hands. For Ignite News, I'm Chris Luckett.
We've got flurries today, clouds on the weekend, but the temperature should be climbing up to the 0 mark. I have the details coming up in weather.
Canadian breakout artist Carly Rae Jepsen leads the Junos over Justin Bieber. All this and more coming up in your entertainment.
The Toronto Raptors continue their winning ways following the All-Star break, and the Maple Leafs struggle on the road in Tampa. This and more coming up in sports.
And here's a look at today's top stories. Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne gave her first throne speech at Queen's Park. A man was rushed to hospital after a house fire broke out on Cannon Street at 3 a.m. on Wednesday. And a Toronto gun crimes trial has fired up a debate over controversial minimum sentencing laws.
Thanks, Charles. Here in Hamilton, it's currently -7 with clouds and flurries. In Toronto, it's -5 with partly cloudy skies. Niagara Falls is mostly cloudy and -7. Moving down the highway, to London, it's -8 and cloudy. And in Windsor, it's 8 degrees with overcast skies. Looking in the next 24 hours in Hamilton, tonight will be cloudy with -9. Overnight temperatures will drop to -12 degrees and skies will see some clouds. Tomorrow morning will be a cold -11 with variable cloudiness. Taking a look at the 5-day forecast, Thursday will see some cloud coverage with a high of -5 and a low of -12. On Friday, we can expect to see some scattered flurries with a high of -1 and a low of -12. Moving into the weekend, Saturday we'll see a few flurries and temperatures and will climb above the freezing mark for a high of 2 and a low of -2. Sunday we'll have cloudy skies and a high of 0 and a low of -4. We should have warmer temperatures on Monday with sunshine and a high of -2 and a low of -5. That's all for your weather. Let's check in with Paula for your entertainment update.
Towards a downward spiral for sprinter Oscar Pistorius after his girlfriend dies. Also known as the Blade Runner, Oscar has been dropped from big endorsement deals worth $2 million a year like Nike. Last week, the Paralympian was accused of the murder of his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, who was shot in the hand and also the head. There was a 9mm pistol found in the runner's home. The trial is still ongoing. Toronto Raptor rookie Terrence Ross has won the slam dunk competition for the All-Star weekend. Ross has succeeded other Raptor players like DeMar DeRozan, who came in second in recent years. He wowed the crowd jumping over a kid on Saturday and won by 58% of the electronic vote cast. This is the first time that a Raptor player has won the dunk contest since Vince Carter won the title in 2000. Breakout Canadian singer Carly Rae Jepsen leads this year's Juno Awards over pop star Justin Bieber. Jepsen has 5 Juno nominations, including Album and Single of the Year. Justin Bieber has 4 nominations, giving Carly some competition. Her breakout song, Call Me Maybe, topped the charts worldwide last year and the US Billboard Hot 100 for 8 weeks. The single has sold over 10 million copies and has over 400 million YouTube viewers. Justin Bieber has been credited for promoting her song to success, all by just a tweet. And that's all for your entertainment. Let's pass it over to Kyler with sports.
In the NHL, Steven Stamkos scored his 10th goal, Benoit Pouliot had 3 assists, and Burlington native Corey Conacher chipped in with 1 assist as the Lightning beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-2 on Tuesday night. The Leafs, who dropped their road record to 7-3 on the year, got goals from Mikhail Grabovski and James Van Riemsdyk. The Leafs' next game is Thursday night at home against the Sabres. In basketball, the Raptors held on for a 96-88 win last night in Washington over the Wizards. The Raps have now won 5 in a row. Rudy Gay and DeMar DeRozan scored 24 apiece. Toronto is currently 5 games back of the Milwaukee Bucks for 8th and final playoff spot in the East. Rudy Gay will face off against his former team tonight as the Raptors host the Memphis Grizzlies. Well, so far it's been a tumultuous year for the Los Angeles Lakers, but before they could move on with the rest in the second half of their season, they were left looking back at the life of legendary owner Dr. Jerry Buss, who died on Monday. Countless fans have already flocked to show their support for the longtime Lakers owner. Buss presided over 10 championships, and many fans have left flowers and other mementos in front of the Staples Center. Lakers star Kobe Bryant expressed his condolences and said he was very confident the rest of the Buss family could carry on the tradition of excellence that Dr. Buss brought to the organization. That's it for me with sports. Let's pass it back to Ion and Charlie.
Mississippi has officially abolished slavery this month. The 11th Amendment, which outlawed slavery, was adopted by Congress in 1864. Mississippi initially injected it and passed a resolution in 1995. Somehow, the National Archives Office never received a copy, meaning that it was never officially recorded. The mistake was not caught until a professor at the University of Mississippi researched the state votes on the amendment after watching the movie Lincoln. And that's all for your news for Wednesday, February 20th. For more news coverage, check out our website at ignite.ca. I'm Charlie Chase.
And I'm Ayan Mahmood. Thanks for watching, Mohawk.